Ciao a tutti, it's Autumn, and I mentioned in the last video that I was gonna save my replay versus Spiral on Sylvan's for its own separate video because it's just one of the best games ever. And here it is. I'm playing What Artifacts. And yeah, before we get into it, just remember to subscribe, ring the bell, good shit. And also, I coach for $10 an hour, so if you want that'll be cool. So, I go first, but not the best opening hand. We have Warning, Bottomless, TTHN, Mortak, Scythe, and Kage. Meanwhile, he has Upstart, Rivalry, Spore, Hermitry, and Sylvan Charity, and he's gonna see a Query Bandit. So he's gonna go into Upstart, into Miracle Fertilizer, that's good. Charity into Martial Leaf, Query Bandit, and another Upstart Goblin. He's gonna stack Hermitry and on top Query Bandit. So he's gonna go Martial Leaf for 2, and that's gonna bait my Warning. Pretty good play here. And obviously putting the Query Bandit up on top means that it's a better draw later on if it does get negated. I draw a second Moral Attack, so yeah, I'm just gonna pass. He goes for the Query Bandit, and I don't have anything for it. Goes gets double Hermitry, Soul Charge, Call of the Haunted, and Lone Fair Blossom, so he's gonna grab the Soul Charge, obviously. And with the Hermitry, he's gonna stack his deck up. I draw a double Cyclone, which is pretty good here. But my hand is just so bad that really nothing short of like a Sanctum could possibly maybe change it. And I hit the fucking Soul Charge, the Upstart. So I double Cyclone for Moral Attack because he targets 3 and Lone Fire. And so he plays around it pretty well. Plays around the Bottomless with the Lone Fire. And I go for Moral Attack into the Lone Fire. And Bottomless the Hermitry. He drew this Mount Sylvania, so that's pretty good. Goes for the Miracle Fertilizer on the Hermitry, and I have TTHN. I hope and pray that he activates, but with this Mount Sylvania, it doesn't really need to do that. And in general, like he has a 2700 body on the field. I can't really do anything about it. So plays it safe, plays around the TTHN. So really good play, and then he flips over the Rivalry, and I drew out Cobra, but it's a little bit too late now. So you can go for the Mount Sylvania into Sequoia, into Charity back, you top decks Call of the Haunted, and I'm just screwed. Like what am I gonna do here? I'm just gonna fast forward here. And now I only have one live back row, and obviously he Kamashrumos into the live back row because why wouldn't he? And yeah, I think I forfeit, maybe, I don't know. No, he goes for Alsays, and with the Alsay he stacks my dead artifacts on top of the deck, and I cannot do anything. So game 2, I open Thunder Seahorse, Spot Cobra, Ignition, Sanctum, Call of the Haunted, and Maxi. Like, this is amazing. Besides the Cobra plus the Thunder Seahorse, besides that, I'm just complaining to be a complainer. Spiral, meanwhile, opens Miracle Fertilizer, Maxi, Rivalry, Kamashrumo, and Mount Sylvania. I have no clue why he has Maxi in versus this deck, frankly. Maybe he's expecting Constellars? Nah, I don't think so. I don't know. But anyways, I go for Thunder Seahorse into the Mahanders and set 3 and pass. There's always this thought about, do I normal summon something? But, versus Sylvan, there's just no real reason to just keep everything in hand. So I draws into a second Kamashrumo. Thanks a lot. I gotta tell you, this match was quite long. So he sets Kamashrumo, sets Rivalry, and and Bluff Fertilizer. And when you're playing versus Sylvans and it's a set card, you just gotta play around the Kamashrumo because it's almost if it's not that, then they're already losing, so there's no real need to attack. Unless like generally you want to play around it because it's a lot more interactable during their turn, with like breakthrough and such. But I decided to play it a bit safe, not go super aggressive, and go for a normal summon Mahander into the Wat Cobra. And I can attack with the Wat Cobra and search another Wat Cobra. End of BP. He has Rivalry, and I could Ignition it, but I didn't really feel like going into the extra deck in general. So I decided to keep the Rivalry, so he thinks I'm screwed, and I can catch him by a lot more surprise with the artifacts next turn, this turn, and also he plays Rivalry. He's not really nerfed by Rivalry too much, but it's a little bit, so that also helps. Because I can't really deal with that too well with the Kamashrumo with my guys. So I would rather him flip it. So he mills Hermitry into I don't know what he did with Hermitry. I can't know that. But Miracle Fertilizers. So milling Hermitry was very fortunate, and he also he has doubled Mount Sylvania, but that's pretty annoying. So I go for Ignition onto the Rivalry, so that I can go for the Sanctum and also Maxi. Sanctum. He also goes for Maxi, so I am going into Moral Attack instead of Big Attack. So with the Moral Attack I can pop the Hermitry, and that way Oracle Fertilizer also dies, and he doesn't have a normal summon. So yeah, I can just win on the next turn. So he scoops. And game 3 is like where shit is real. And pretend I didn't show his hand. So I'm just gonna go through it with like my thought process. I'm like, what? He goes first, and he thinks a lot, and then he passes. What the fuck is his hand? What is in his hand? Why is it doing that? So my hand is Wild Giraffe, Moral Attack, Sanctum, Call of Dante, Double Cyclone, and Instant Fusion. Decent hand, but it's not amazing. It's not a seahorse hand. So we go for a Giraffe just to get chip in, and the instant into Beast Dweller, because that's good, I guess. And set 4, pass. Dweller plus set 4. What could possibly go wrong? Set Bobsy the Bobcat. Goes to end phase. And make 1. He ditches Hermitry. Activates Sage Koya. Okay. I go, okay, Sage Koya. That's good. Activate Sanctum. You can't. What? Because he researched this 2 years ago, and apparently the end phase discard rules are really fucking obscure. But apparently you can activate trigger effects, but only on the first chain after discards, and you can change stuff to those. But after that chain resolves, apparently it's not just that you cannot activate effects, but apparently you can't even activate trigger effects. Like, that is one of the craziest rulings I've ever heard. And, you know, obviously I go to the judges, replay the rules, whatever. What the fuck is going on? And yeah, apparently that's the ruling. So I cannot use the Sanctum. I'm pretty salty. But, you know, if you see, look at this hand. We have Didricrow, Princess Sprout, Rivalry, and oh, 2 fucking Siege Koyas. So, you know, even if I was able to Sanctum, well, actually, if I was able to Sanctum and triggers cannot activate, then he couldn't Sage Koya the second one. But if that is the case, then I also can't activate the Mortak effect. So apparently that is the ruling. I'm still not sure, because it's like, it just sounds completely wrong. Anyway, like, none of the, like, this is just running up hypotheticals, because, you know, this is what happened, and, you know, the fact that I cannot make a new chain with things that, with, you know, a trap is like, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense, I guess. I could see that. But, you know, this is really just fucking weird. Anyways, so I go for the Dweller to try to go for the Wat Giraffe into the Call of the Hunted, and he has the Crow. Not good, not good. And so I just pass, because I cannot do anything. He top decks into Mount Sylvania. That's pretty good. I go for Dweller, because, you know, I don't know if he's gonna hit something with Sage Koya. And, you know, it's gonna die anyway, so might as well. So he runs over my Abyss Dweller. And he now activates Mount Sylvania. And, you know, pro tip, I generally don't want him to activate the Mount Sylvania's effect, because more often than not, this card is gonna be beneficial. Now, in this situation, not really. But you don't want to take chances with, you know, him discarding Hermitry, and oh, now he has a Hermitry in the graveyard for Miracle Fertilizer or Soul Charge. So, you know, you'd rather want to hit the Sylvania earlier. So, you know, Moral Attack. I get to pop the guy. And he has Sage Koya. So, yeah. Sage Koya effect, he gets Soul Charge, that's good. And he has the set Rivalry, so that's gonna be nice. But, you know, I'm gonna Moral Attack into the other Sage Koya. And then Standby Phase Rivalry. So, Duality, it's do or die. You know, Tiras is 2600, and it's not indestructible by battle, and it can't hit the Rivalry if he dies. So I do draw the double Cyclone, but, you know, I still can't do much of anything because of the duality. So yeah, just set the double Cyclone and hope and pray. And the hopes and prayers are not met with you know, anything. He top decks Mercury Fertilizers. Goes for the Princess Sprout, which is interesting, but, you know, that's neither here or there. Goes for you know, Princess Sprout is gonna stack itself, and Sage Koya effect. Gonna summon itself as a 7. Make Aurea. Aurea is gonna be able to. It's gonna hit 3 blind, and it hits the Hermitry. Great. And he bounces the Rivalry. He bounces the Rivalry. And with Hermitry is Hermitry. And, you know, he runs over my artifact. And, you know, go double Cyclone. Mahander, I drew Kagetokage, that's good. I can go into rank 4 here. 101, obviously. And go for a bunch of damage. But, you know, he has Miracle Fertilizer. I don't know that. And he also has Terraforming, that's pretty good. And he has Thermitry with Thermitry, because, you know, he stacked that before that with Thermitry. And yeah, I just gotta hope and pray. But, you know, gimmick puppet for game. So yeah, that's it. Leave a like, join the Discord, subscribe, ring the bell, and I coach. Good.